Hi, this is Karen Gaines, your nonprofit finance guide, and today I am going to talk about the difference between using a spreadsheet and using QuickBooks Online or another accounting software to keep track of your finances or keep your books. All right. So this video is geared towards those nonprofits, those organizations who are currently using spreadsheets to track their financials instead of using an accounting software like QuickBooks. Using spreadsheets at the inception of your nonprofit or at the very beginning, it might be okay to use spreadsheets then to track your finances or keep your financials, because typically volume is low. There aren't many cash transactions. There really aren't any grants to track. There's just not a lot of activity. But once your nonprofit begins to grow, once your nonprofit starts picking up more activity, picking up more donations, getting more complex, then you're going to need QuickBooks or some type of accounting software. And you might, throughout this video, you might hear me refer to accounting system as QuickBooks, and that is because a lot of nonprofits use QuickBooks Online for their accounting software, because QuickBooks Online offers such a huge discount for nonprofits, and most nonprofits just go ahead and use QuickBooks to keep their books. Okay. So continuing on, I have seen nonprofits, quite a few nonprofits keep nonprofits use spreadsheets to keep track of their finances, and it's often quite confusing. It is hard to follow. Typically, there are multiple spreadsheets involved. Each spreadsheet is somehow connected to the other. There's tons of formulas. There's just a whole lot going on, and typically the only person that understands the spreadsheet is the person that created it. And that's it. Like, no one else really understands a spreadsheet. And the concern is, what if something happens to that individual? What if something happens, maybe they get sick, or they just leave the organization, or just something happens to that individual and no one can access that spreadsheet, or if they have access to it, no one can understand it. So there are just overall a lot of risks involved with using spreadsheets when you are keeping financials of your nonprofits. Okay. So, using an accounting software such as QuickBooks, it does offer a lot of advantages. It offers a lot of advantages that, just using spreadsheets does not offer. Okay, so when you're using spreadsheets, there are typically a lot of manual entries that you have to make. And with those manual entries, all those manual entries can lead to errors. It's just really easy to make an error when you're using a spreadsheet, because it's really easy to fat finger or just accidentally push another button, and the spreadsheet, may or may not catch it. All right. But when you're using an accounting software such as QuickBooks, there are built-in checks and balances. So if you fat finger something and then try to submit it, the accounting software is going to, generally generate some type of error or warning or something. It's going to catch you so that, you can go back and review what you just did and fix whatever you did. Okay. Accounting software also provides real-time reporting. So when you're using spreadsheets, if you want some type of report, you have to update the spreadsheets, manipulate it. You got to do all kinds of stuff to produce reports. And this costs a lot of time, and also it could produce errors. There's nothing, that could catch those errors unless you manually put some type of safeguard within that spreadsheet. When you're dealing with QuickBooks, you have a lot of reports just available for you. There are a lot of real-time reports, just there for you. And all you have to do is go to the report section, click a button, and boom, there you have it. And QuickBooks offers many reports to choose from. So you have, like, right at your fingertips, a lot of reports you can just run in a matter of seconds, and you're done. Okay? Scalability. So when you're using a spreadsheet and you start growing, especially if you're growing fast, spreadsheets cannot keep up with that growth, especially because typically when your nonprofit begins growing, your financials become more complex. You're typically getting more grants, and with each grant, you typically have to track those grants. And with a spreadsheet, it's very, very hard to do that. And so, it becomes increasingly more difficult to use spreadsheets because you have to essentially build more spreadsheets, and you have to connect all those spreadsheets to your original spreadsheets. And so it kind of becomes a nightmare, okay? So again, it's important to use an accounting software because as you grow, and you're using that accounting software can it can take care of your growth. It can handle the growth that you have. It can handle the financial complexities that you're going to incur whenever your nonprofit begins to grow. All right. Multiple users. So as I somewhat talked about earlier in this video, when you're using spreadsheets, it's typically only one person who has access to those spreadsheets, and it's only one person who understands those spreadsheets and how it's connected and how it's supposed to be used, and et cetera, et cetera. And again, if something happens to that person, if something happens to the person that has that's responsible for the spreadsheet, or that holds the spreadsheet, then that's it. Like, all of your finances are just gone. Okay, and that leaves you in a pickle. All right. So again, using an accounting software such as QuickBooks, you can have multiple users. So if something happens to that user, to the holder of the spreadsheet, or excuse me, not the holder of the spreadsheet, but if something happens to the person that's doing the books in QuickBooks, someone else has access to those books. Someone else can easily go in and start manning those books and taking care of the financial transactions and keep things going. Whereas with the spreadsheet, if that one person leaves, that's it. You're pretty much done. All right. And then there's the point of professionalism. Okay, when you're using spreadsheets and you want to produce financial reports, let's say for a grant application, or for your donors, or for a bank loan, or any number of individuals, it takes a lot of time to produce those financial reports. It takes a lot of time to manipulate those financial reports in order to get a nice looking balance sheet and profit and loss statement. Whereas with accounting software, again, you can just run a report and it produces a professional looking financial report every time. All right, something that you can easily send to whoever is requesting it. Okay, and you can't do that with spreadsheets. It's very difficult to email out a financial statement where a spreadsheet is being used versus QuickBooks, or any other accounting software. You can easily forward those financial reports, and they look professional, they look nice. Okay. When you're using a spreadsheet, Using spreadsheets consume a lot of time. Okay, using spreadsheets might be free, and you might save on paying those, a fee when it comes to QuickBooks, the yearly fee. But when it comes to spreadsheets, man, you're going to waste tons of time, keeping track of, just keeping track of your financial transactions, donations, putting together financials. It's just a huge time waster, in my opinion. But with QuickBooks, you have everything there. Again, you can just run reports very quickly. You can enter transactions quickly. You can connect your bank account with QuickBooks, and all of your transactions come in automatically. So you just save a ton of time. Okay. So, wrapping this video up, while using spreadsheets, they're fine for very small projects. They're fine for like when you very first starting out. But, using spreadsheets are limiting. Okay. There's not much bandwidth with spreadsheets. You're going to get capped at what you can use with spreadsheets. So I strongly recommend using an accounting software like QuickBooks instead of a spreadsheet, because in my opinion, using spreadsheets to keep your financial data, to keep your finances and keep your books, is just not a good idea. It's a bad idea to do that, in my opinion. Okay, just too many things can go wrong. It's unreliable. You can make errors. There could be errors in your formulas. It's just overall, it's high risk to use spreadsheets for your finances. Instead, use an accounting system like QuickBooks to keep your finances. So if you're using spreadsheets right now to keep your finances, think about switching to QuickBooks in making that transition, especially since it's the beginning of the year. We're starting a brand new year, and so it'll be I'm not going to say like very easy, but it'll be a much smoother transition to make when you're starting like right at the beginning of the year like this. All right. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. Let me know what you all think. If you're watching via YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.